It's true, I just can't deny. It's time for me to straighten things out. Yeah, gotta help me find a soul, one that I can call my own. It's true that my time has come. It's time to see what's past and gone. Oh, ooh, you gotta help me find a cause, one that I can call my own. Yes.
There is a radical lack of connection across the globe, even despite the fact that we have the internet. The disconnection is a physical thing, and it's a disconnection at the level of environment, even in the island where my family is from.
So I'm trying to figure out how to frame your origin story. So did you grow up in Florida, or where'd you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in South Florida. I migrated there when I was 6 years old.
Okay, so you arrived here from the Philippines?
I arrived here from Cebu, Philippines, wearing a Pocahontas t-shirt. And like, I'm going to her lands. When we left on June 30th, 1996, yeah, I was in Cebu with all of our family. That was the last time I'd ever see like my grandpa. You know, that was...
Did he pass away before you got to see him again?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So I was like, sophomore year in college, I was like, let me go back because I need to see my Lolo. And he passed away, but right before so that was like my first... This is a part of my origin story, right? Like connecting to my ancestral heritage is trying to connect with my ancestors, and they literally passed. That door was closed before I could return. Again, a return to the Philippines, still confronting different kinds of traumas, whether that was a storm or a death, or just like grieving the loss of our culture and the ways that it's had to be commercialized in order to survive. And, you know, each time was also an opportunity to understand that is part of my healing process that you need to go through in order to reconnect to your ancestral heritage. It's not possible. Like, you have to do that work of grieving the loss and letting go of romantic attachments that you have to the idea of what home is. Whether that's like your grandpa that was like trying to meet before he passed, and there you go, too late. So just knowing that that's part of that process of reconnection is going through grieving.
Makeup stained sheets and tear-soaked cheeks, desperate for the dawn to bring back dignity. Time and time again I relapse, but love has never left me. Perhaps I should have found a way to pay it back.
One of those ways, though, systematically for Filipinos, for islanders who are living abroad, is that we are disconnected from our native language, especially if we did not grow up listening to it. And that closes off an entire portal of access to worlds, to communities, to people who are also trying to claim autonomy over their land and their expression.
And so you have a program that you kind of run or something, or organize.
Stewards.
Yes, one of the stewards.
Captains.
That's a perfect word. One of the stewards, one of the captains.
Yeah.
So talk about like how that functions, because it's something that you teach here in the States, right?
Yeah. So what I started was Bisayan. So it's a language, it's a cultural language immersion that has 3 language classes in the 3 major Bisayan languages, which are Hiligaynon, Cebuanon, which is Cebuano, or Waray. And those are the three main languages spoken across a archipelago of the Central Islands of the Philippines. It's really vital that there are portals and spaces in which people are able to reconnect to their language, and it being a transoceanic dialogue.
So talk about like that relationship between, you know, grieving the sense of home or trying to process that grief, and how that kind of tied into your work as, you know, teaching your native language, as well as the body work that you do.
So the body work I practice is a mix of different styles and methods and ways of holding space. In bodywork as healing work, it's an honor to create that space where we allow ourselves to just be with our bodies together. It's a somatic experience in that they are invited to explore the elements. Altar work is invited. So yeah, it's a shared experience. But I am the one physically holding that space. They were like, you know, when you're ready to step into being like a healer, like people are gonna start lining up for you. This is on the island. People were telling me this. People who don't even believe in that kind of stuff anymore will want to go to you because they're like, oh, you're the one who came back. I had always known that my grandma was a healer of some sort, my Lola, on my mother's side. But I didn't quite understand how the whole thing worked. And, you know, like I had gone to the market and so I had asked if anyone knew healers on the island. And they're like, oh, your grandma. I was like, oh, right. And my mother had explained to me that my Lola, her mother, had a gift, a mantra that was passed to her as the eldest daughter of the eldest daughter, that is passed when a person is about to die, and then they pass it to their eldest daughter. My mother is the youngest daughter. I am the youngest daughter of my mother. So when my Lola died, my mother was 19 years old. Remember, she's the youngest daughter of 7 girls. But the eldest one received it when my Lola died, and she never used it. And then her eldest daughter became sick and is unmarried and doesn't have a child. And so there's no way for this mantra to be passed down and this healing lineage. You've ever had sleep paralysis?
I haven't, no. But I've just heard about it from my friends.
So sleep paralysis is when you're so extremely tired that you have these hallucinations, but you're awake and you're aware that you're asleep in a body that you can't move. When I had this during lockdown 2020, and my grandma comes in the room. I mean,
Who passed away?
My Lola, who is, I've never met. And then my Lola puts her hands over me like Reiki. I know this because I do this with my bodywork clients.
I'm gonna tell you that I love you 100 times a day. You'll get tired of my voice, that's how much I tell your mama. I love you so. I tell your papa too. I'm gonna let everyone know about my love, so I really hope you love me too. Yeah, I really hope you love me too.
I just kept screaming, like internally, like, I gotta stop, I gotta get out of it. And
as in get out of the dream.
I had to get out of that
situation.
I had to get out of the situation, and I was like, stop. And she was gone. And you know, I told you this, that I feel like I just got too scared.
You should have kept going.
I should have kept going. I mean, I think it's pretty I felt pretty clear that she was transferring energy to me and transferring some ancestral energy. You can't hide from that ancestral lineage forever. That is my story. That is part of like my evolution, going back to my islands and reconnecting. Mm-hmm. And I do plan on living there and building a home there and sanctuary there.
What advice or encouragement can you give to someone who kind of was in your position, which is they are maybe blessed with a gift that can feel overwhelming the way you felt in your dream, or really scary, or it's something that feels like too big for them, and if they feel like they're too small to embrace it, or they feel like they're not enough, or that they aren't prepared or whatever, like what advice do you have to someone who might have a calling like that?
Like I said from the beginning, this process of connecting to your ancestral heritage will always require grieving and healing. It's inevitable. We have to go through the feels. And that's part of our journey that we have to accept, is if we choose to accept that journey, because that's going to be part of the ride. And so really leaning into your relationships, your
relationships with who?
With the environment, with the land that you're on or that your ancestors lived on, with people that you call community, with people that you call family, people you call friends. Know that you are not alone. We are literally, it is your story of healing, and it is our collective story of healing all of the relationships of disconnection that were ruptured through colonialism, through capitalism. And we're rewriting these narratives across the globe. So you got to write your chapter. Write your chapter.
You can't shy away from the calling. You have to write your chapter.
I mean, and I'm in it too. I'm scared. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but I just know that this is part of the process that we all are going through together, built with trust, with safety, with shared values that are connected to our material bodies, to the land, to our roots, to the seeds, to the soil, to the seas, like the real, like the material, sensorially real, and keep that going. It's a process that we're all doing together, and that should make you more curious than afraid.
Lately my thoughts got me distant, darker days filling up darker minds. Stuck in this room that keeps spinning, wondering how you been, where you hide. Late night drinking, wishful thinking, what if you were here? Morning waking, heart still aching, something about the way you make me feel.
When I'm making labels for my herbal medicines that I'm trying to sell on Turtle Island, I'm like, Lola never had to do any of this shit. Like, there she is. There she is.
Oh, crap. Thank you so much for watching Mother Tongues. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was edifying for you and cathartic and made you feel a little bit of something, you know. I mean, me and Khokhoi had a very, very enlightening, very illuminating, very activating conversation, a very mobilizing conversation. And unfortunately, because of the way editing works, I couldn't put all of those words that she shared with me in this documentary. But we do have the full interview available. And so we just wanted to publish that just for everyone who watched and felt like they wanted to know more about what Khokhoi had to say or about her story. So, you know, all of that is very rich, and I wanted to make sure that we offered that to you. So, you know, if you're on YouTube, it's going to be like, you know, here somewhere. And I hope you enjoyed that as much as you enjoyed this. All right. Bye.